Hello all, this is John from EastCoastArmory.com, and I'm here today with a project update video for this 1/6 scale German SDKFZ 222 armor car. Since the last video update, more progress has been made to the model's interior, and we will be going over these details in this video. To start, we can see that the model's floorboards have all been completed, and the floorboards now are continuous, from the front of the fighting compartment all the way to the rear. This portion here of the floorboards we notice are elevated. This is because on this portion here of the frame there is the hard point for the armor car's main gun. As if we can recall, the hard point is required so that it gives a nice sturdy and strong fastening location for the armor car's gun mount. The gun and gun mount will be fabricated later on. If we notice, the diamond plate was used, and it's the same German style diamond plate that was used throughout the whole armor car. Moving our way back, we have here some boxes. This center box here is actually a sheet metal cover for the transmission. If we look back in our earlier videos, we'll see that the transmission housing is in this location over here. A small sheet metal box, which is made out of the diamond plate, is fastened in a box shape to cover and guard the transmission. On the real armor car, this box here would be removable so that you can get access to the transmission in case any maintenance is required. On either side of the transmission guard are two storage boxes. The boxes themselves were all fabricated out of sheet Lexan and styrene and have all of their hinge and clasp detail added. The boxes are non-functional and are there for just detail purposes. Also on top of the whole system is a small little rack. This rack here is all fabricated out of polystyrene angle and is just there for detail. I am unsure of what gets fitted to this rack on the actual vehicle, but all the vehicles, all the 222s I've seen do have this frame fitted to the center transmission guard as seen here. Also on the floorboards, you'll notice that I plated up the small little gaps that were cut into the floorboards for the little brackets that mount the upper body to the chassis. Those gaps were simply plated over with the diamond plate, thus removing any gaps and sealing it off from the chassis. Also, a small trim was added to either side of the floorboard, which further eliminates any seams that would be between where the upper body and the chassis merge. Moving our way to the front of the vehicle, we can see that the two side doors have been affixed to the model. The side doors are included with the kit and just like the rest of the hull, are made out of 1/8 inch thick polystyrene plastic, which is then water cut to the shape that you see here. The only modification that I made to the exterior was that the kit itself, the panels are squared off because of the way they're produced. On the real 222, the panel has a small little bevel around the edge. The bevel was simply sanded with a palm sander. To affix the hatch to the kit, I utilized here some functional resin hinges from panzerwerk.com. The resin hinges are very nice, and what's great about them is that they become pre-drilled or casted with the hinge mechanism hollowed out. This makes adding the pin alignment very easy and requires no effort. The only modification that was made to these hinges was the way they mount to the model. The hinges have their detail fastener molded in, and it is properly molded in. Unfortunately, because of the application I need them for, I really need them to be nice and strong, so glues alone weren't going to hold. So what I had to do was I drilled out the molded in fastener detail and replaced it with an actual fastener. As I said earlier, the hatch is made to be functional and does open, but to open it, you need to do something special to it. Over here, we could see on the front portion here of the hatch is a small key. Just like the real armored car, to open it, you need a tool. For my model, I used a Allen screw, and to open the doors as follows. I simply insert the Allen screw into the key, and I rotate it, and then the door opens up like you see here. On this model, I wanted to make the doors fully functional in that they actually lock onto the model as they would on the real armored car. To do this, I actually fastened out of metal and plastic the functional latch. The latch is functional just like the real armored cars, in that when I turn the handle here, there's a small little latch which will clamp onto the armor plate of the armored car. In addition to the clamp, the whole piece itself is connected to a rod which will lock onto the bottom portion here of the armored car, as I mentioned before, like on the real one. You could control it from both the interior with the use of the lever, or from the exterior with use of an Allen wrench. As for the rest of the hatch detailing, the hatch's detailing breaks down as follows. You have a storage tube container here mounted to these quick release straps. If we notice, the tube has all of its riveting and clasp detail added to it, and it's all fabricated out of PVC and resin, with the small clasp detailing being fabricated out of sheet brass. The tube itself is affixed to a angled plate here. The plate here is all made out of metal and is all soldered together. Welded or soldered to the plate is a small little bracket. This bracket here acts as a bread bag rack for the crew's, or for the driver's bread bag. The bracket goes to the handle that we see here. What's interesting about the handle is that on the edge of the handle, there is another small piece of metal welded to the handle. This small little piece of metal is actually a bracket that the bread bag rack actually bolts to, like how we have it here. This hatch layout is a mirror image on the reverse side of the model. As for the bread bag that you see here, this is a simple Dragon bread bag and was purchased along with all my other crew equipment from Toy Soldier Brigade, which was mentioned in an earlier video. I will now open up the reverse side with the wrench just to show the operation in action. And there you go. Now that I have the hatch doors open, it allows more light into the model so I could showcase some of the other details that I made to the model's front. Starting with the two electrical boxes that we have here adjacent to either side of the steering column. These boxes here are actually the fuse boxes, and if we notice, the wires come out of the chassis into the fuse boxes, where then they get diverged up and go up into the instrument panel above. On the lower right-hand portion here of the armored car, we can see the battery. The battery itself is a resin casting from Armor Packs. The battery usually comes with his quad 50 caliber kit. However, I was able to acquire just the battery from him separately. The battery itself is very nicely detailed and was simply painted and fitted to the model. The little clamps on the terminals were fabricated by myself, and once added, the whole system was mounted to the model that you see here. I will now seal the hatches and lock them up for the night. And that concludes this project update video for this 1/6 scale German SDKFZ 222 armored car. If you like this video, stop by and like us on Facebook. Also, don't forget to check out eastcoastarmory.com for more 1/6 scale tank builds, as well as other 1/6 scale detail components. Thank you.